Okay, so Polymarket just dropped a pretty big news, something that people has been requesting for a while. And in this video, I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper and trying to understand what this actually means, because I think there's two different avenues this can go into. So Polymarket has just released, I think about 6 hours ago, this tweet where they say, we price the future. Now you can lever it. Perps are coming to Polymarket. So currently they are pricing the future with these outcome markets, right? It's a binary outcome. A lot of these has a fixed expiration. And they basically say now you can lever it. So you can leverage prediction markets. That's what it sounds like, right? If we go to the definition of perpetuals here, so perpetual futures are derivative contracts without an expiry date. So I think this is a big distinction here, right? Because on Polymarket, everything have an expiry date. There's no markets that don't have any expiry date. It allows traders to speculate on the underlying asset price indefinitely. So what do they actually mean here? Is it perpetual contracts, perpetual future contracts on the outcomes of the prediction markets, or is it a completely new type of contract on Polymarket where you can speculate on the actual asset price of Bitcoin, Nvidia, Tesla, and so on? If we look at the video here, you can trade every second. And what they're listing here, if you saw that, is different symbols of Nvidia, gold, silver, and yeah, they trade Nvidia, Apple, Robinhood, Visa, Coin, and so on. So this one kind of sounds more like a little bit more traditional markets instead of an actual prediction market. So I think this is the distinction here, and this is kind of vague. Are we looking at perpetual futures leverage on actual outcome markets, a binary outcome market with an expiry date, or are we looking at a more traditional perpetual exchange, some like Hyperliquid or Binance or something like that? I think this is a little bit vague, and we're gonna see probably later what that actually means. If we go to Polymarkets, as we know, a lot of these has an expiration date, right? We have April 30, we have April 24, and so on. What a lot of people on X at least has requested a lot is basically leverage on Polymarket. So instead of, buying 19 cents for a yes share, you can leverage it. And it obviously entails a lot more risk, but also a lot more reward. And you see these, other exchanges where you can get like 50x leverage. And it does kind of sound like that's the direction that Polymarket want to go in when they say that we price the future. This is what they currently do, right, with these binary outcomes. And now you can lever it. And it sounds exactly like now you can leverage your binary outcomes on Polymarket. And the thing that just triggers me here is they don't show any prediction markets in this promotional video at all. And another thing, I don't know if you saw it, they also have a long and short option. That's what they showed in the video. So here, you can see here in their interface, long, short, and then they have a 10x. So you can go long, you can go short, 10x. And then if you see the chart here, Nvidia 161, so well, that's the price of the asset, right? They don't really show the binary. Let's see if we can. Yeah, so here we see, yeah, the Nvidia USDC long, short amount. We have the balance here, and then you can trade 10x or whatever it say here. It's hard to say. Yeah, it doesn't really show. And up here, we have perpetuals. We have Nvidia and then finance. So this is 100% this is AI generated. You can see it's written finance wrong. This is just something I'm noticing now. So this doesn't look like an outcome or prediction market at all. It just looks like a more normal perpetual, you know, kind of a competitor to existing, like the markets like Binance, Hyperliquid, and whatnot, right? Otherwise, it looks like the same interface, right? You have market order here. You could maybe do the limit order. You have long and short. You have 10x leverage here. Yeah, you put 400 and it order value is 2000. Trade gold, trade silver, Bitcoin, Nvidia, Apple, Google, Robinhood, and so on. So it's honestly like it's two different messages as I'm like seeing here. Again, lever the price of the future. It's not the prediction markets, in my opinion. It doesn't sound like it's the prediction markets. It sounds like it's a completely new derivative on Polymarket, and this kind of aligns with this Pith network, which is something that Polymarket has actually implemented not long ago. So this service here is a price layer of global financial markets, and Polymarket has added this today. Not today, but they added it a few weeks ago to power their data pipeline on Polymarket here. So something like in finance here, a lot of these now stocks and indices is the data behind it is powered by a Pith network. So it kind of aligns with the added Pith network. They added the finance and a lot of these the tickers here, and now they're adding perpetuals. And it sounds like it's something that's going to be a subsection of the finance section on Polymarket. But again, all of these is binary outcomes, and it to me sounds like they might add something different than just a prediction market. But I would love to hear your take on this. I feel like in this stage is quite vague what direction they're gonna go with now. On the surface of it, they have an expiration date, right? But behind it, there is a series of events that doesn't have an expiration date. So you could have some kind of a perpetual layer on the series of events that you can trade, and then underneath you still have the prediction markets with an outcome and an expiration date. Yeah, so it's hard to say right now. Things is a little bit too vague, and also what I'm reading on X, people think by default that it's leverage on these outcomes, but we'll have to see if that's actually the case, because how are you going to do that with like a perpetual future on a 5-minute market, for example? How is that going to work? I mean, maybe it will work, right? But it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with that. And other people is also mentioning that it's going to happen on Calci. I haven't seen any information about Calci. Like, they're kind of following, like they have this one here from 15th of April, trade on more commodities 24/7 now on Calci. And this is something that they launched almost simultaneously with Polymarket at that time. And then now with the new perpetual futures, people are talking about Calci also adding perpetual futures. I haven't seen Calci actually saying anything about that on their X here, but we'll have to see. They probably will if Polymarket is successful with it, but people are mentioning right now on X. For example, here, CoinMarketCap, latest Polymarket expanding into perpetual futures trading following reports that rival Calci is also planning to offer crypto perps. And here we have one, and this is a good a good point, right? Because before we saw perps platform adding prediction marks, now we have prediction marks adding perps, right? So it's, and this is what we saw, right? Binance adding prediction marks, and we have other, you know, typical perps platforms adding prediction mark. Now the predictions market is adding perps. So it seems to me it's kind of getting muddy a little bit, and everything doing kind of the same things. Yeah, we'll see where this is heading. I don't really have more information on it at this time. If you have any information or any new or any ideas about the direction, please leave a comment down in the section below. And with that said, see you at the next video. Bye bye.